My best friend says I owe her everything I have, including my boyfriend. I know my boyfriend is sleeping with her. I understand the importance of being cautious when using the term best friend in a post like this, but I can't think of a more fitting way to describe Jessie. We grew up together because our parents are great friends, and she always had my back in high school. Despite being at the top of the teenage social hierarchy while I was at the bottom, nobody dared to mess with me because I was Jessie's friend. Jessie is someone who craves attention, and while I never minded giving it to her, nobody is perfect, right? However, things have become complicated now that I have my first real boyfriend. Every time we are together, she becomes overly affectionate towards him, constantly touching his arms, running her fingers through his hair, and complimenting him. She has even started with prank spankings on the butt, which makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. I wonder if this is normal behavior, especially considering Jessie has many male friends. My boyfriend doesn't seem to mind it, so am I overreacting? Could my discomfort simply be due to jealousy, given that Jessie is very attractive? What really threw me off was yesterday when my boyfriend finished work early and called me. I didn't need him to join me at the book club event I was attending. I know he doesn't enjoy it, so I suggested he go to our friend's house instead. I received multiple texts from Jessie urging me to come to a party because my boyfriend was intoxicated. She used phrases like, "Girl, you gotta come to this party now. Your BF is wasted. LOL, LOL, we so drunk, you need to come and stop us. And I can't behave myself if you don't get here soon." This made me increasingly agitated as the book club event I attended took longer than expected. Despite feeling upset, I tend to avoid confrontations. After the event, I called my boyfriend since I didn't feel like going to the party, but I was supposed to be his ride. He agreed, so I went to pick him up. When I arrived, I didn't go inside and was ready to express my anger. However, when he got in the car, he was completely sober. I asked him about drinking and showed him the text from Jessie. He became upset and denied her claims, stating that he wasn't even with her but catching up with a friend who had returned to town. He expressed his frustration, mentioning that I should have informed him about the text so he could address it with her, as he felt I hadn't set clear boundaries with Jessie. Now I'm contemplating whether I should talk to Jessie about this. Perhaps she was just drunk and wanted me at the party? She was friendly to me when we were younger, and I don't want to seem untrustworthy. Is there a tactful way to approach this? Or should I wait and see if it happens again? Am I overreacting? Update. Yesterday, I found myself alone with Jessie as she wanted my help picking out clothes for an event. I was at her place and felt the need to address something that was bothering me. I tried to be polite and express that I knew she meant no harm, but I didn't feel comfortable about it. I asked her if she could tone it down, although in hindsight, I realized I should have been more assertive and asked her to stop. However, I felt weak in the moment. While Jessie didn't say anything explicitly mean, her attitude seemed a bit off. The way she looked at me and the smile she gave after I spoke made me feel uneasy. She simply responded with an "okay," and we moved on to choosing her clothes. After that, I left. We had plans to grab something to eat, but she said she was tired. I could tell she was hurt, and so I reached out to a mutual friend who was more her friend than mine, without delving into specifics. I mentioned that I had a conversation with Jessie about something important to me, but I was worried she may have misunderstood. The friend responded with reluctance, saying he didn't want to get involved but advised me to watch it. When I asked for clarification, he simply repeated his warning. Later, he changed his mind and sent me a series of text screenshots exchanged between him and Jessie. Yesterday, I found myself alone with Jessie as she wanted my help picking out clothes for an event. I was at her place and felt the need to address something that was bothering me. I tried to be polite and express that I knew she meant no harm, but I didn't feel comfortable about it. I asked her if she could tone it down, although in hindsight, I realized I should have been more assertive and asked her to stop. However, I felt weak in the moment. While Jessie didn't say anything explicitly mean, her attitude seemed a bit off. The way she looked at me and the smile she gave after I spoke made me feel uneasy. She simply responded with an "okay," and we moved on to choosing her clothes. After that, I left. We had plans to grab something to eat, but she said she was tired. I could tell she was hurt, and so I reached out to a mutual friend who was more her friend than mine, without delving into specifics. I mentioned that I had a conversation with Jessie about something important to me, but I was worried she may have misunderstood. The friend responded with reluctance, saying he didn't want to get involved but advised me to watch it. When I asked for clarification, he simply repeated his warning. Later, he changed his mind and sent me a series of text screenshots exchanged between him and Jessie. Second update: my partner is having an affair with another woman. A friend persuaded some other acquaintances to share text messages between themselves and either my partner or my best friend. The evidence is pretty clear. I confronted my partner, and he seemed lost, expressing his love for me and claiming it was just a physical relationship. He said Jessie kept making advances at him, teasing him, and even though he didn't like her, he still wanted to hang out. He claimed that he only engaged in the affair to see if she would move on and leave him alone, and that it only happened a few times. He assured me that he wouldn't do it anymore, stating that he doesn't even like her, he loves me, and asking for my forgiveness. After reading through all the texts, I believe that Jessie went to the party, where my partner and I met, because she wanted to get involved with him. She had strong feelings for him, but he didn't reciprocate. She was attempting to break us up, first by getting him to leave me, and then by getting me to leave him. Unfortunately, her plan worked. As of yesterday, he is single. In some of the messages, they discuss their encounters. I feel nauseous. I blocked him because he was still trying to contact me. I cut off all communication with her. However, she just sent me a message saying she heard about what happened, and this was probably for the best, right? And I feel like screaming. I don't know if this is an update or just me venting. Final update. I promised to keep you updated, and here's what's been going on. My ex-boyfriend has been persistently trying to reach out to me through mutual friends. They've been urging me to unblock him and at least listen to what he has to say. According to them, he's deeply sorry, loves me, and is a complete mess over what happened. One person even questioned whether I was certain about the whole situation. They offered to send me screenshots of text where he spoke highly of me, emphasizing how much he cared about me. However, I've grown tired of this screenshot drama and firmly declined their offer. To those who continued to push me, I made it clear that I wouldn't be unblocking him, had no interest in hearing anything from him, and warned that if they persisted, I'd block them as well. I unexpectedly ran into my ex-boyfriend at a book event that I frequently attend. It's a hobby of mine. It felt like he might have shown up there for me, as he didn't seem to have any other reason to be there. However, that's just my speculation. He asked if I could spare a few minutes for coffee, and I told him I was running late, which was a lie. He walked with me to my car, and I couldn't help but notice how good he looked and smelled great. He was also very sweet, and it was evident that he had styled his hair the way I liked it. I'm struggling because despite everything that's happened, I still have feelings for him. He continued to apologize and expressed his understanding of the need for time and space, but he also asked if I would consider giving our relationship another chance, as he was willing to wait for me. He assured me that he would never speak to Jessie again, and even went as far as saying that he would act as though they had restraining orders against each other. What struck me as ironic was that everything he was saying required me to trust him, which I simply don't. I informed him that I was no longer interested and that he should move on. I wished I had delivered a more cutting or clever response, but I was at a loss. It happened last Saturday, and I haven't heard from him or our mutual friends since. I believe that's the end of it. Jessie also persistently attempted to communicate with me. As I mentioned in the comments, I had a trip planned, which would have included me, my ex-boyfriend, Jessie, and a few friends. Since Jessie couldn't afford it, my parents covered most of her expenses. After everything unfolded, she must have remembered this and panicked because I had all the necessary documents, vouchers, confirmation emails, credit card info. She went into a frenzy. She even showed up at my place. I wasn't home, and my roommate told her to leave in no uncertain terms. Initially, I didn't block her because I'll admit I found some enjoyment in witnessing her distress. I spoke to my mom, and she was incredibly supportive. She advised me to cancel everything, even if it meant losing money, and assured me it was okay. So that's what I did. And for one final bit of dramatic closure, I printed all the emails confirming the cancellations and sent them to Jessie with the word "bye" before blocking her. My roommate has been wonderful. We were never particularly close, and now I'm not even sure why. She canceled plans with her friends to be there for me and invited me to go out with them next weekend. Some of you suggested that I see a therapist, and I did yesterday. I really found it helpful. It was just one session, and I mostly talked, but it felt good. The therapist gave me some homework. She discussed unhealthy and abusive relationships and asked me to reflect on my friendship with Jessie and identify what was healthy and unhealthy about it. It made me realize that she was never truly my friend. For years, she took advantage of me, and I was even grateful for it. During my therapy session, the therapist mentioned the narcissist prayer, which goes something like that didn't happen. If it did, it wasn't my fault. If it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, then you deserved it. This perfectly encapsulates how Jessie is handling the situation now. Good riddance to her. As a final piece of gossip, Pete checked in with me yesterday. He's a good guy. Just to clarify, he's gay. He mentioned that Jessie was convinced that she and Dean would immediately get together after I ended things. However, it seems Dean doesn't have the same plans, which sent Jessie into a tailspin over the weekend. Pete also shared that Dean is a mess, going out drinking hard for 4 nights in a row and needing to be carried home by his friends. During a recent lunch outing at a burger place, Jessie attempted to run her fingers through Dean's hair, but he pushed her away and firmly told her to stop and never touch him again. It's great that he's finally standing up for himself, isn't it? In the end, it seems he really did have feelings for me in his own twisted way. But I don't want to be with someone who likes me in a twisted way. I want to be with someone who genuinely cares for me. I believe I deserve that. I'm also considering using the money refunded from the trip to go on a solo adventure. I haven't made a decision yet. Anyway, this will be the final update on this situation, as it's unlikely that I will have anything new to add. Right now, I just need time to heal and let go, you know? Perhaps in a few months, if my life takes a turn for the better, I might come back with a "Yay, life is awesome now" post. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.